y'all? What's good, man? It's your brother God Science. I'm up in here. Shout out to the few that do watch the videos. I really appreciate y'all showing D. Y'all thought I was gonna rap. I can't rap, man. I rap for fun. These real MCs out here would tear me apart. But I am confident in my beats, even though I could always get better. But salute to y'all who watch the videos and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna talk about a hidden gem today, and it's called Syndicate, 1999 when that dropped. And backstory is, at that time, Wu-Tang wasn't at that time, Roots was falling off a little bit. I'm not gonna be honest. Now there was some dope projects that came out, but after the W, I don't know if anyone ever saw that interview that You God gave on Vlad. I don't watch Vlad anymore like that, but back then he gave an interview and he did said the beats after the W, the beats wasn't the same. And he's right. The beats was never, not the W, but forever, Wu-Tang Forever. It wasn't the same. And it was a lot of side projects going on. And I think that's one of the things that, dead the W. Now, I didn't agree with him going in on RZA like that, but, that's his brother. And, he didn't get a solo album at the time when RZA had the glow. Now, a lot of people would say You God isn't lyrical like that, but I think You God is dope. You know what I mean? He holds his own. Being around MCs like Inspector Deck and Ghost, you're gonna get good. Capadonna, even though I don't know what's up with Cap, man, with him in this Fort Disciple album, when it's gonna drop. But anyway, he just dropped a Solo Eclipse album, which has some dope stuff on it. But nothing's gonna beat The Pillage. But like I said, at that time, some dope albums were dropping, but it seems like Fort Disciple, the Wu Elements, Fort Disciple, True Master, they were holding down the W. Killer Priest album dropped in 98. That classic. And you saw Fort Disciple, even though he was dope with Killer Army, he just took it to a whole different level. Then you had The Pillage, where you had all the Wu Elements. You had, Mathematics. You had Fort Disciple on there. You had True Master, who carried most of the album. True Master is salute to True Master, man. I think at that time period, he was killing it. And he was holding down the W. He was giving us that sound that RZA was giving us. Fort Disciple was too. RZA had some dope beats on The Pillage too, but it just wasn't the same. I was just listening to Syndicate, and before that Iron Man, and it's just, I guess every producer has their time, man. You know what I mean? You can't stay like that forever. But it wasn't the same. So a lot of album was dropping. I remember I was in work release at that time. Being a knucklehead in the streets and all that crap. I remember when Sons of Man album dropped. That was dope. The Wu Elements basically did that album, hold it down. Then, like I said, Killer Priest dropped, and The Swarm was a dope album. RZA had some dope beats on there. Now I was like, yo, is he holding back beats? He has to make a lot of excuses for RZA. He's holding back beats, bro, because the beats on there was dope. That was a dope album. To this day, I still play it. And Method Man dropped. I was a little disappointed with Method Man's album, but I was impressed with True Master because he carried it once again. He was carrying the W, man, and he definitely some of his best production to me is on that album, man. And even though the album it was like too much producers and it felt like a bunch of songs just mashed together, I get the concept, which was from Cyborg. I don't know if everybody ever saw that movie called Cyborg. But that album, it just was too much producers, and when you're working with one producer like RZA, it's a vision, and just like his first album, To Cal. But I thought it could be better. The beats that RZA had on there, but True Master showed his ass off on that. Pause. But Wu-Tang was getting a little bit, it was just like, gosh, man, then, in that, when, I used to always read credits, and in the credits I see Bobby Digital, and I'm like, oh my God, RZA's coming out with a solo. Now the first thing in your mind, you're thinking about, you know, Only Built for Cuban Links, Liquid Swords. What the hell he's gonna do on this album? I'm like, yo. So me and my brother is like, yo, this album is gonna change the world. It's gonna shake shit up. It's like, yo, you thought me I was a, like, you know, a Wu-Tang head. My brother, rest in peace to my man Supreme, you know, my best friend, younger brother. He was like, we was like, yo, this is gonna change the world. And at that time, RZA was talking about an album called The Cure, which never came out, but we were like, The Cure, oh my God. And this was the time around when he had the glow, all right, when he was in his bag. And we were like, oh my God, what the hell that's gonna sound like. And then when we heard Bobby Digital, I was like, I got out of work. I remember it's like the same week I got out of work release, Bobby Digital dropped. And I got it. And I remember when I first listened to it, but I get it. It was about a movie, and you know, RZA was doing some experimentation with the production, which is a dope album. It grew on me after a while. It has some dope stuff on there, but I just expected more. And in around 1999, Syndicate dropped. After The Swarm, Mylansky had that solo song, Where Was Heaven, which was dope. And Syndicate dropped, which was, you know, Mylansky, Joe Mafia, Napoleon, dope MCs. Both three of those dudes, mad chemistry. The album was just flawless. DJ Devastator, I've never heard of that dude before, but when he did that album, I was like, who the hell is DJ Devastator? This dude is dope. And he carried most of that album. Salute to you, bro, wherever you're at. You made a classic. And a lot of people don't talk about that album, but I think out of all the side projects and woos, that album, it is dope from beginning to end, man. Napoleon, you know, he was like guest starring on it, and dope lyrics. I think they're from Virginia. Yeah, Virginia, repping Virginia. And you know, all of them had lyrics, you know what I mean? And the beats was dope. Mathematics contributed some beats to the album, but DJ Devastator, he did the majority of the album, and the album was dope, man. And it's just one of those gems that came out of that era that, you know, I know when Ugar did that interview, he was talking shit about, you know, all the side projects, but the you know, that side project, you know, Syndicate, they held it down. You know what I mean? To this day, I just finished listening to that album, and I was like, yo, you know, a lot of people don't talk about it, but it is a dope album, man. And if you haven't listened to it, you know, The Ice Age, you know, all the songs is dope, man. It's just a dope album, and I love Mylansky flow. They had a chemistry, you know what I mean, sort of like with Mobb Deep, you know what I mean. Not saying that, you know, they were, you know, Mobb Deep, but they had that chemistry, like, you know, EPMD, Mobb Deep as a duo. And then they had Napoleon, which when I saw him did an interview, I don't even know he was rocking with Napoleon, which is sad because he was a dope MC. And I know they put out a few albums after that, but that first album, classic, which was executive produced by the RZA, and it came out on Wu-Tang Records. And definitely he amazing job, man. And just a lot of people don't talk about it, so, you know, I just wanted to like highlight it. And, you know, if you were under a rock somewhere around 1999 and you have not heard that album, I suggest, like, you know, it's on Apple Music, go pull it up. It's called Syndicate, first album. The actually name was Crime Syndicate, and when he signed with RZA, you know, they changed it to Wu Syndicate. But dope album, man, coming out of Virginia, repping. In the interview, I saw him dissing Pusha. I ain't like that because you know, I'm a Clips fan. But other than that, it's a dope album. definitely check it out. So that's one of the hidden gems, you know, Syndicate album that I was just rocking to. And it's just, you know, that dude who produced that album, DJ Devastator, I wonder why he never came out with more music, man, because the dude was dope. You know, he sounded like he can fit right in with the Syndicate. I mean, the Wu elements. You know what I'm saying? Like, his production was top notch. You know, you would swear that, you know, RZA or you know, True Master them was doing, you know, most of the beats, but it was actually him, a dude that I never heard of. But, you know, dude held it down, and they created a classic to this day. Classic. So if you haven't listened to Syndicate album, the first album, go check it out, man. It's dope. It's one of the best albums that came out. You know, side projects with the Wu-Tang around that time, when Wu-Tang was like, last album that I think that was great for Wu-Tang was the W. A lot of people don't like it. I like the W. I think it was dope. Of course, it didn't compare to Forever. It didn't. It's not gonna. Nothing is gonna compare to 36 Chambers. But as far as, you know, a Wu-Tang album, I would say that's the last time when RZA did a project and there was that same spark. Not only that album, he came out with it was the soundtrack to Ghost Dog. If you haven't seen that movie, dope movie, Forrest Whitaker stars in it. I ain't even gonna tell you about the storyline. It's a dope movie. The soundtrack is even dope. That's what I'm saying. RZA will have, around that time, he just had these spurts where he will come out with some dope shit, and you're like, yes, RZA's back. And then you hear, you know, like the Wu album, you're like, oh, man, you know what I mean? But yeah, that Ghost Dog soundtrack, dope too. But Wu Syndicate first album, classic. Salute to my Lansky's, salute to Joe Mafia, wherever y'all guys is at, man. Y'all represented. I'm still playing that album right now in heavy rotation, and every time I'm making a video now somebody want to try to call me, man. I hate that crap. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate y'all, man. Like the video, subscribe, and most importantly, if you haven't listened to that album, go check it out, man, and tell me what you think. God Science, man. I'm out. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.